When I say the words underrated classic, what springs to mind? If you said David Fincher's 1997 thriller The Game starring Michael Douglas, you're correct. However, we're not talking about movies, we're talking about games. And when it comes to games, I would say that the most criminally underrated game of perhaps the last 10 years is Remnant from the Ashes. I've been smashing through this game of late with some buds and solo, and I've been absolutely blown away by how tight and well defined of a gameplay experience it has been. So today I just want to sing the praises of Remnant, talk a little bit about the game, give it a review of sorts, spoiler alert, it is good, and then get back to playing it because I'm a bit addicted at the moment. So let's get into the video. Now, make sure you stick around to the end of the video as I will be giving away 37, that's right, 37 show quality Labrador dogs. Now, these dogs are all of breeding age and are ready to ship express post at a moment's notice. And as I said before, that's 37 show quality Labrador dogs. And if you know anything about dogs, these are the highest quality dogs that you're going to find on the market. So very exciting stuff, very important stuff. Stay tuned for that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, Remnant from the Ashes, what is it and why should you care? Well, basically it's a third-person shooter set in a post-apocalyptic world, which can be soloed or co-op, with the gameplay probably being most aptly described as Dark Souls with guns. You probably heard that term being incorrectly applied in the past, Dark Souls with guns. However, when it comes to Remnant, I actually think it does nail this sort of concept, taking just the right amount of Dark Souls influence and balancing it with your more traditional third-person shooter tropes. The game takes you through to several visually distinct locations, which basically serve as sort of like an overworld, leading to more traditional dungeons, with you moving through those, fighting mobs and mini-bosses, resting at bonfires, i.e. checkpoints, and finding unique loot, culminating in a big boss fight at the end. The one interesting to note is that all Remnant's maps are procedurally generated. What is procedural generation? I don't know. But it means each playthrough you're going to have a different experience, which is pretty cool, I guess. Progression-wise, there are no skill trees per se, but you unlock new traits, weapon, armor mods, and weapon mods rather, which are basically they're like your ultimate abilities, which you have one per gun. I actually love that there's no skill tree. I hate skill trees. Stop making skill trees. I hate the tyranny of a tree. Give me a vegetable garden. Let me pick and choose as I please. But anyway, enough about that. Enough about skill trees and their tyranny. But that's an overview. That's a bit of a look, an elevator pitch, a look from 20,000 feet, something like that. Anyway, let's have a look, and we'll have a look at story, we'll have a look at visuals, we'll have a look at all that good stuff. Story-wise, the game is, well, look, I don't know. I skipped through most of the dialogue. Look, I'm a busy man. I got things to do. I got trees to shoot. Look, to be honest, when it comes to multiplayer games, I can take it or leave it when it comes to the story. I feel gameplay is always king. That being said, I know that the story enriches the experience for some players, so here is my understanding of the story as it stands. The world has been taken over by tree people. The tree people look like demons. You form part of the remnants, of humanity who are now fighting against the tree people. That's about it. It's normal stuff. There's a great evil. You fight against the great evil. That's all you need. You don't need anything else. Now, I hear there is some actually pretty deep lore and all that sort of stuff to be explored for people who are into that sort of thing. When it comes to cutscenes, there's some pretty cool looking cutscenes with some pretty stylish and unique characters. Now, this is the type of honesty that you would get in a review like mine, where I tell you that I didn't even read anything to do with the story, but I'm going to review it anyway and say that the story gets a 10 out of 10. Let's talk about visuals, and when it comes to visuals, the game looks absolutely incredible. The art direction and visual design of the world and all this in is just absolutely amazing. I tend to personally look at overall visual presentation when it comes to games, and not just sort of the level of graphical fidelity or the degree or amount of graphical techniques employed in its construction. And when it comes to your final visual product, Remnant absolutely slaps. So while actually it's quite simple in its construction, each area is strikingly unique and filled to the brim with distinctly designed enemies and bosses, all with incredible artistic styling. The armors you obtain throughout the game are also really neat in terms of design. The weapons, I mean, they're the sort of Fallout-esque kind of slapped together post-apocalyptic thing, which normally I don't really like. You know, I mean, I like firearms to look like firearms. I don't really see the appeal in firing a gun made out of an old hat and some soup cans, but generally they do look cool. And when you do equip the various weapon mods to your weapons, it changes the look of the guns, and I'd like that detail. That's pretty neat. If we're talking about performance has been absolutely flawless. It supports ultra wide out the box, nothing to report. I was running at 2K 240 Hz and never dropped below 240. Now, granted, I am running pretty beefy gear, but everyone I played with did confirm that they all had excellent performance at their end, so I don't think there's going to be an issue there. And when it comes to bugs, stuttering, anything like that, absolutely none. I encountered absolutely no bugs in my playthrough. Now, let's talk about mods. Mods, if I'm going to do reviews, I think we need to talk about mods. Look, let's have a look at a simple logical expression. Right, here's the premise. I play on PC. Conclusion, therefore I play with mods. See, simple stuff. If you look at your own experience and you find that only one of those statements is true, we need to have words. Now, That being said, I found this game doesn't need any modding at all. Yeah, it runs fine. It looks great out the tin. However, the only mod that I was running is a mod called Boundless Co-op, which you can get on the Nexus, that allows you to bump the co-op player limit from 3 to 99. It seemed to work for us and was great. Allowed us to play with 4 people. Good stuff. Now, finally, let's get to gameplay, and this is where Remnant absolutely demolishes most garbage being spewed out of the AAA pipeline nowadays. As stated earlier, it's Dark Souls, but it's range combat being the central focus and melee taking a lesser role. Overall, combat in general is incredibly tight and responsive. Hitboxes are precise, and as I stated earlier, I've got about 40 hours, and I got no jank, no bugs, no clipping, no nonsense like that. It's just been a flawless experience. It's very, very tight, very, very, very smooth. Shooting is satisfying and impactful, and although you only have one long gun and one sidearm, enemy variety means it keeps things pretty fresh. Evading damage is done by rolling in your true Dark Souls fashion, and it works as advertised. However, I do find the tendency to roll spam being there. Melee, in my opinion, could use a little bit of work, could be a little bit more fleshed out. Can't really build a total melee build, which is a little bit sad, but the main focus is shooting, and as such, I don't think it really detracts from the gameplay experience that the melee isn't just that fleshed out. Enemies are varied and fun, and taking them down requires different approaches, which becomes more important as you go up in difficulty. You've got, I think, 4 or 5 difficulty levels, and so the game can be incredibly challenging. The final difficulty is just so ridiculous, like it's insane. Boss battles are absolutely epic and challenging with some really fun and unique boss design, and when it comes to co-op, it works out the box. That's how I mainly played the game, and I think it's a co-op experience. It's absolutely awesome. It works flawlessly, but whether you play all alone or with friends, you're going to be having a lot of fun, and I think that is the main takeaway from Remnant gameplay. It's just incredibly fun, and it's incredibly tight. And it's really refreshing to play a game nowadays where enemies aren't clipping through walls and your character doesn't control like you're submersed in canola oil. And I mean, nobody wants to be submersed in canola oil, even the vegans. So all in all, seeing as this is a review of sorts, I should give it an actual score. And I'm going to give it a 4.5 canola oils out of 5. In my opinion, it's bordering on a masterpiece. It's close. It's close. And I'm really looking forward to the sequel, which is coming out this year. Did I say sequel? Sequel. Whatever. It's coming out this year, so stay tuned for that. If you did like this video, consider liking the video and subscribing. If you didn't like the video, consider your life choices which led you to this moment. I don't know. Now, when it comes to our giveaway and the Labradors, unfortunately, I will not be able to give them away at this time. We did have some logistics concerns with giving away live animals. It's just meddling bureaucracy, just ruining everybody's fun again, I know. But do stay tuned and do subscribe because I will be giving away free copies of my exclusive ebook, where I tell you how I made over $3 million buying and trading domestic animals, which I acquired for free from various animal shelters. I mean, they are just giving these animals away for free, guys. There's massive upside potential. So if you missed the crypto boom, don't miss the free animal boom and become an early adopter now. So stick around for that. And in any event, goodbye.